Jim, AEW Collision was reviewed on The Experience this week because of the timing of when we record. We didn't get a chance to talk about the ratings. We have them here now.
Well, in that case, crazy Guggenheim, go ahead and let's hear what these, if only the viewers, the listeners would understand that one. And for reference, on July, the debut of Collision obviously was, I think, as I recall from memory, 800,000. And then it got down to the low 4th of July weekend, the Saturday night, I think it was July the 1st. It was like just under 500,000. And then we predicted that would probably be the low, the debut would be the high, and they would settle somewhere in the middle. And we also remarked over the last couple that we have analyzed that they keep their audience, if not improve on it in some cases, whereas the Wednesday night show is the Titanic Battle Royal where everybody's jumping off ship at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see, did that hold up again when the first hour of this program was the best wrestling match of any kind that's been on television in we don't know how long and maybe ever. And I can't imagine anybody tuned out of it. So where'd we go this week? This was for what, Saturday night?
July 15th. July 15th, that's right. On TNT, AEW Collision was watched by 579,000 viewers.
And that is remarkably comparable to last week, if I remember correctly.
Last week was 580.
Well, okay, so the same people. Just as, they said, fuck, that was so good, we got to see it again.
And if the question is if Collision's a good lead-in for other wrestling shows, just for the record here, Battle of the Belts after it, 580,000 viewers.
Is that the best they've done since the start, when people figured out it was just going to be a non-promoted job belt show?
Well, I have the previous ones here. This was supplied by WrestleNomics. Battle of the Belts in order of the previous edition: 704, 527, 437, 317, 409, 415, 524.
And this one was
524.
This one was this was the 524. So the best was the debut. The second best was the second show, and that was only 3,000 viewers more than this one. It beat all the others. So that's a pretty good fucking lead in. All right, but anyway, what did Collision do quarter by quarter?
Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. The opening backstage promos, as well as FTR versus Bullet Club Gold with picture-in-picture, 544,000 viewers.
Okay, and this is going to be interesting because already you can tell to do their average, this thing's going to increase.
Once again, these numbers were pulled by WrestleNomics.
And Thurston Howell III does a great job.
Quarter 2, 8:15, 8:30 p.m. Continuation of FTR versus Bullet Club Gold with an ad break, 546,000 viewers.
Picked up 2,000. One would suppose that nobody left and a couple trickled in, but they didn't realize, they weren't calling everybody yet because it hadn't started being a classic.
Quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. Once again, a continuation of FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, 583,000 viewers.
And during that second quarter hour, they got on the telephone and called somebody. And now they've just picked up another 37,000.
The one thing I don't remember off the top of my head, this match had not officially limited commercial breaks strategically placed in better ways than usual. So I wonder if that played any part of this. Quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. Once again, FTR versus Bullet Club Gold with picture-in-picture and an ad break, 545,000 viewers.
Okay, now that surprises me because I wouldn't imagine anybody would tune out on this match. Was that shit?
Well, again, what did I just say? An ad break and picture-in-picture in the same quarter.
I think I don't have my notes. I was going to say the quarter 3 then was the one where they went about a 15-minute segment, and then they had the picture-in-picture and the ad break in the second. That's apparently the crux of this, but go ahead.
Quarter 5, the 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m. FTR versus Bullet Club Gold continued, an ad break, and the beginning of Ruby Soho versus Willow Nightingale, 591,000 viewers.
There you go. And they were there for the finish of that match. That's the highest quarter. So the top of the 9 o'clock hour, midpoint in the show, is the highest quarter so far. I don't know that there's been another AEW television program to do that. Do you?
It's, I don't want to say off the top of my head. Yes, actually, Dynamite this week.
Unless it was one of these collisions.
Dynamite this week with MJF and Cole teaming up. Popped up at 9 o'clock, I think.
That's true.
It's
odd.
Quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. Ruby Soho versus Willow Nightingale continued. The post-match, the Powerhouse Hobbs QT Marshall backstage angle and an ad break, 571,000 viewers.
Boy, you got to break a few eggs to make some lemonade, and we've talked about that you got to have some matches on just to get some guys some wins or girls some wins or whatever, but they only lost 20,000 on that kind of unappealing segment on paper.
Segment 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. Artemis Spencer and Randy Myers versus Brody King and Malachi Black. The post-match with Andrade El Idolo and the start of CM Punk versus Ricky Starks with picture-in-picture, 618,000 viewers.
Okay. Do we attribute that to the House of Black versus Frickin' Frack, or do we attribute that to people tuning in to see the main event with CM Punk?
I didn't get their names. I didn't know it was Randy Myers. That was a great left-handed pitcher for the Mets. They never should have traded for John Franco.
I thought it was Randy Meisner, the unheralded member of the Eagles.
He's heralded.
All right, I guess he's been heralded a time or two, but Harold was not as famous as he is now.
Well, what will the Herald Tribune say of this? The final quarter, 9:45 to 10 p.m. CM Punk versus Ricky Starks continued with picture-in-picture, and I hit my chair, with picture-in-picture, 633,000 viewers.
Okay, so completely throwing every pattern of an AEW television show completely on its ear, this show from start to finish gained 99,000 viewers and peaked at the end instead of the beginning, and on a Saturday night.
And just because it continued into it, I know you didn't see it because your DVR shut off. Let me give you the Battle of the Belt quarter-hour breakdowns.
Okay.
10 to 10:15 p.m., the Ricky Starks CM Punk post-match with Jushin Thunder Liger, and the start of Orange Cassidy versus Lance Archer with picture-in-picture, 600,000 viewers. Segment 2, 10:15 to 10:30 p.m., continuation of Cassidy versus Archer with the post-match, an Acclaimed and Billy Gunn live promo, an ad break, and Tony Storm versus Taya Valkyrie, 544,000 viewers.
Okay.
Segment 3, 10:30, 10:45 p.m., Tony Storm versus Taya Valkyrie with picture-in-picture, a satellite interruption, an ad break, and the Owen Hart Foundation ramp angle, I don't even know what that is, 500,000 viewers. And finally, 10:45 to 11 p.m., quarter 4, including, as a 3-minute overrun I'll mention, an ad break followed by Luchasaurus versus Shawn Spears with picture-in-picture, 447,000 viewers, and the 3-minute overrun, 11 to 11:03 p.m., 475,000 viewers.
Well, and they had a satellite interruption, which we're going to talk about in a second. So you can't, I mean, it wasn't an attractive program to begin with on paper, and I'm not surprised they lost 150,000 people from start to finish of it, but they did have the satellite interruption. They were already down 100,000 or almost in that quarter when it happened. So, you know, I'm sure it didn't help them any. But the bigger thing is with Collision, again, if you're going to watch that program, predominantly we're seeing the people start watching it and either stick with it or more come along especially in this instance when they heard that a lot of good shit was happening. And the Wednesday night program is completely the opposite, where they start with the big number and then run them off. And I think it boils down to what we've been saying. On Saturday night, they don't do everything at 100 miles an hour you could ever fucking see, where nothing registers but everything happens. And people finally, after a while, are like, oh fuck, I'm tired of that. You know, where you're involved in watching something that is making sense from start to finish chronologically on a fucking program. That may be, I think, the biggest difference is the people that are watching the Saturday night show want to watch a good wrestling show, and the people that are watching Wednesday nights want to see a bunch of people dive off shit, but that gets old after a while. Is there another way to look at this?
You know, it's like that Arn Anderson analogy with Sid Vicious that you gave. You just gave it the other day with FTR. They may not pop the giant number, but the people that tune in are going to stay there for the entirety of the match. And that's what you saw here. And we've been doing these numbers now for a month. Other than like, you know, around the Toronto show or whatever, it's pretty steady. The people come in, they want to see the show, they stay there to the end. It moves up at the end if there's a big main event. And this is only what, week 4, week 5?
Yeah. And I think they're building something. When the people consistently get a good show, or at least the majority of the show is good on Saturday night, they're going to want to come back. Remember, I said I'm happy with watching this thing as it happens these days. I don't do that with any other wrestling show because I know there's going to be a bunch of shit that you just can't sit through. But Saturday nights have been different. So I think that will help them hopefully slowly pick up a few numbers here and there, even if Saturday night is the handicap night versus Wednesday for a television program. If it's good enough, hopefully people will change their habits. It worked for Saturday night 6:05 on TBS for many years, so I don't see if they want to see it, they can make plans to.